Welcome back, you guys, to Andy the Banker Show. And for today's episodes, we're going to be talking about legal situations that two of my companies are facing. Totally, I invest in Microsoft, Chipotle, Costco, and Google. And out of the four, three of them have legal issue. The one about Google, we've been knowing for a long time now. The Google one is the antitrust, where the Google search is too big of a business, but there are two legal probes that's occurred. First one is with Microsoft's antitrust. All right. The What ended up happening is that FTC is launching an investigation into Microsoft to see if this is an antitrust company or not, if this is a monopoly. Because their biggest allegation against Microsoft is that once a customer is inside the Azure cloud ecosystem, it's very difficult for customers to get out of Microsoft Azure. And as as an investor, that's exactly the point, right? You look into not just Microsoft Azure, but you look into Amazon AWS, you look into Google Cloud, you look into Oracle's cloud business. They're all pretty sticky. Once you get into the cloud business, it's very difficult to move or switch to another competitor. And to me, I believe this is just an industry-wide practice. Now, for the FTC, they find this as an issue. They don't want it where a company like Microsoft, once the customers get into Microsoft Azure, it's hard for them to switch. They want it where once a customer gets into Microsoft Azure, they can easily switch to, let's say, AWS or Google Cloud, and that's the main goal that FTC is going to be investigating and seeing if this is an industry-wide practice or if Microsoft is being an unfair monopoly. Now, according to the New York Times, they write that the aggressive move by the FTC comes as its chair, Lena Han, is probably heading out the door with less than 2 months left in the Biden administration. Ms. Han, 35, has pushed the agency to police big companies and has tried to get ahead of fast-moving changes in the technology industry. And I gotta agree that, Lena Han, I don't think she's gonna be still the FTC head once Trump is in office. And because of that, I see her making a lot of big moves before her term is essentially up. Now, besides Microsoft, when you look at the stock itself, it did get lower on the week by about 1 or 2%. Now, is this going to destroy the company? I don't think so. But the biggest thing that it can do to a Microsoft stock is that it might influence some investors to not invest as heavily into Microsoft. There might be, 5% or let's say even 10% of investors who would have bought into Microsoft stock saying, "Hey, you know what? Maybe let me think about it. Let me think about buying more of Microsoft. Let me hold off on that and see what happens after this antitrust investigation." Because as people have seen, if the same thing occurs with Google as occurs with Microsoft, then we're going to have a woozy of the next couple of months. Now, the other lawsuit that has been announced is this Chipotle lawsuit. All right, this Chipotle lawsuit is very fresh. It has just been recently filed by one of the shareholders named Michael Stratford, according to Yahoo Finance. Now, the biggest complaint that Michael is making, he was essentially a shareholder of the company between February to July, and his biggest complaint about Chipotle is that the former CEO, Brian Niccol, right, and the Chief Strategy Officer, John Hartog, they were stating that, with when it comes to Chipotle portions, we haven't changed a thing. There are no changes, right? We've always given big portions, and that's what they stated. But when you look at the financials, it paints a different story. And that is what Michael's biggest complaint is. But because when you look at the financials, their cost of goods sold has gone up. And as a customer, I've seen it firsthand. Like when I go to a Chipotle, a lot of my viewers say, "Hey, Chipotle gives small portions." I don't think so. I actually thought they gave big portions. And it's because this particular year, Chipotle has been giving out more and more portions to customers. Now, that's not a big issue, right? Giving out more more portions to customers is not illegal. What could be a big issue is if you're the CEO and you're saying, hey, we have no big changes in our portion control, but when you look at the financials, you are having big, you are telling your employees to have a higher portions to customer, give out more portions. And as a result, that is Michael's biggest complaint. And Michael believes that he should be financially compensated for the losses he took in Chipotle stock, because his complaint is that he has been investing in Chipotle stock thinking that their portion sizes are the same as ever. Yet, when you look at their financials, it is not. Now, according to Michael, Chipotle, he is stating that Chipotle intentionally misrepresented information in its financial statements submitted to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. In particular, the defendants willfully misled investors about consistency of portion sizes being offered to customers worldwide. Again, that states essentially, in my words, as, hey, the company is stating that we have the same portion controls. We're not changing anything about the portion sizes. Yet, when you look at the 10K, when you look at their financial statements, the cost of goods sold has gone up, and that's the biggest issue that Chipotle is going through. And now, there is one rule that I do have, you guys, when it comes to investing, which is that when a company is reporting misinformation. Now, in my particular opinion, I don't think this is misinformation, but I do see the point of the plaintiff here, where they're saying, the leadership has lied. In cases like that, I do have a rule where that equals sell, right? And when the most recent company that had some financial reporting issue, now it's not the same degree, it's not the same type of allegation, but SMCI has had a similar issue recently. And my thoughts on SMCI was essentially, hey, you have allegations of misrepresenting your financial. That to me equals sell. And that's the same exact quote that Jim Cramer uses, right? Where Jim Cramer and myself, we would forgive stocks for a lot of things. We're gonna forgive stocks for having a bad quarter. That's fine. It happens. You can't always beat expectations. You can't always beat revenue. But if there are moments where if you are a company that is known to misrepresent financial documentation, that be seen as a very big negative on the stock. Now, what I have done, if I go into my Chipotle stock here, I actually did put in a sell order. All right. Now, this is not going to be a sell market order. I did put in a sell limit order because I see currently the stock is only down by 8 points. So it has not, this information about the lawsuit has not been priced into stock. Now, one of the worry that I have for this particular stock is that I'm up about 8% on this particular purchase since I bought into it. And my worry is only that the amount of taxes I have to pay. Because I held the stock for less than 1 year, I would have to pay my regular income tax bracket for all the gains that I had in Chipotle. And that's my biggest worry. So we'll see if the limit order does go through. I put in a limit sell order for all of my portfolios. So I have 7 portfolios. I put it on every single one of them. If it goes through, great. I'll think of another company to buy into. If it doesn't, that's fine as well. I'll live with it. But that's just my thought process on this particular stock. When it comes to lawsuits about financial statements, that is something that I just cannot forgive. Now, in the long term, I am very bullish on Chipotle. It is a company, as a consumer, it's one of my favorite consumer companies that I like to interact with. It's just that in the short term, I am a little bit, this news about Chipotle lawsuit has spooked me a bit. I'm worried what other things that we might find based on the lawsuit here. And with that, you guys, thank you so much for joining and watching the video. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.